So good morning from day 3 on the West Highland Way. We've got a long day ahead today, 20 miles up to Laric. So we've got an early start. It's just turned 8 AM. We waited for first light and only left the Ben Lomond bunkhouse a short while ago. Had a good sleep there last night in the Ben Lomond bunkhouse. Can recommend it if you're looking for somewhere on a budget. We paid £30 each for a room in the shared male dormitory, and they've got a communal kitchen downstairs where you can cook your own food, or they've got like a voluntary donation box where there's some food items that you can cook for yourself from their cupboard there. What we actually elected to do though was walk down to the nearby pub at the hotel, and it's only about a 15-minute walk from the bunkhouse, but it was quite funny because by the time we'd had our fish and chips last night, it was pitch black and we didn't actually have any torches, and we walked back in the darkness, not being able to see anything, using only the lights from our iPhone, so that was quite amusing. Anyway, got to get the head down now and start knocking some miles off to get to Laric today, because it's going to be a long one. So 1.6 miles into the walk this morning, we found ourselves at a crossroad where you can either go the low route or the high route. Now, a few people that we spoke to in the hostel last night all said they were taking the high route, and that's also what the lady who runs the bunkhouse suggested too, because there was some heavy weather in Scotland last week, and apparently it's very boggy and wet underfoot there. However, the low route is also meant to be much more beautiful in terms of scenery. And obviously, being a photographer, that's quite seductive for me, and that would have been my preference. We stood for about 5 minutes deliberating over what to do, still couldn't decide, so we flipped the coin and left it to fate. And here we are now, heading up the high road. So after walking for about 3 hours and 10 minutes this morning, we reached our first pit stop, which was the Inversnaid Hotel. Just had hot coffee and a hot sausage bath in there, which has gone down a treat. Vegetarian options are available, but I've really enjoyed that hot sausage bath, and it's kind of fueled me up now for the way ahead. One thing I do want to say though is that it's quite technically challenging, that path. It's beautiful, it really is. It's a lovely walk. It's like walking through an enchanted woodland with the loch next to you on the left, but you do have to watch where you're putting every single footstep. So make sure you're aware of that, because it's a little technically challenging. Anyway, we've got 12 miles to go now. The temperature's dropped and you can really feel like there's a shift in the weather coming. So going to plough on now. I think our next pit stop location is about 7 miles time, and about 12-13 miles to go until our end destination. So we are 15.5 miles into the day and we just stopped off at Bini Campsite. Well, I say stopped off, you can't actually avoid it, you have to walk right through it. But there's a shop there, there is a restaurant as well, but unfortunately it was closed today. So we stocked up on some junk food in the shop and literally sat down for 5 minutes. Alex changed his socks and we're cracking on again because we've still got about 5 or 6 miles to go and maybe only about 3 hours of daylight left. So we really can't mess around because the last thing we want to be doing is walking in the dark. One thing I do want to stress, and I really can't stress this enough, that last stretch that we just walked was so challenging. It was almost like an 8 out of 10 challenging. Really tricky stuff, and there are points where you are borderline rock climbing. I'm not exaggerating, and we're lucky today because it's kind of dry and the sun's out now, but you really wouldn't want to be walking that in the wet. If it was raining, I'd actually say wait, don't walk that day in the rain, because some of the rocks are so hard to scramble over up and down. If they were wet, I just think it'd be really dangerous. So you know, I'm not trying to scaremonger or put anyone off, but I'm just being totally honest. I mean, we are, you know, we're reasonably fit, you know, kind of coming up to middle-aged men, and that was challenging for us. So anyway, gonna crack on now and hurry up and hopefully get to Laric before it gets dark. So that's the end of day 3, and I'm currently in Laric Youth Hostel, where we booked a room in a shared dormitory, but the guy behind the counter actually upgraded us to our own private room. So thank you very much to the man who works at the hostel in Laric. And another interesting thing about this place actually is when you come in, they've got like a hall of fame on the wall of famous people who have previously stayed the night here. And there's people like Sean Connery, David Tennant, the band Travis, all their photographs up. So they've all stayed here apparently. So who knows, you could be staying in the same bed that Sean Connery once stayed in. But absolutely a brutal day. It was only supposed to be 20 miles, but it turned out to be 23. And we're just completely shattered and exhausted now. And when you walk that long, it kind of takes the enjoyment out of it. The last 5 miles were just an absolute killer. It was a stunningly beautiful day again. I mean, like literally show-stoppingly beautiful in places. Everywhere you look, you know, it's like a constant battle between looking at the beautiful scenery and also watching where you're going. It was really treacherous underfoot in places, and you know, we really were scrambling up and over rocks, and got some real sore ankles now. We've just been to the local shop near this youth hostel, and got some microwave Indian meals, and we're going to pop those in now and get a nice rest and hopefully a good night's sleep, because we're absolutely shattered.